Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a horror film, GONJIAM-HAUNTED ASYLUM. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The film is about a group of people who explore an old abandoned mental hospital. The film relies heavily on the characters' own cameras to tell the story. This gives it a more realistic feel. It makes the viewers feel as if they were with the characters themselves. It feels slow-paced at the beginning, but once the scary stuff happens, it doesn't stop. The creativity in the story gives us a fresh take with this overly familiar trope. While we didn't get to fully hear the story of the haunted asylum, it leaves us wanting more. This film is a great commentary on how people use tragic incidents to gain profit and attention. It also asks us the question, how far would you go for money? The film opens with the recording of two teenage boys who are exploring an abandoned asylum called the GONJIAM Psychiatric Hospital. During their broadcast, they brag about their bravery in entering the haunted asylum. They are in front of the door to room 402, and as they try to open it, they hear a ping-pong sound, and the video cuts off with a face inside one of the rooms. We learn that these two boys disappeared after going into the asylum. Little did they know that their little scheme would scar them forever. Ha-Jun, who owns the YouTube channel Horror Times, recaps the news in his YouTube video. He is briefly summarizing the hospital's history, including the rumors surrounding it. His YouTube videos are becoming popular in pop culture. The asylum was awarded for being the best mental hospital in the 1960s, but it was shut down due to mass suicides and the disappearance of the hospital director. The rumors vary from one another. Some say that it was a torture facility disguised as a hospital, or that the Japanese soldiers killed and buried Korean citizens there. But the most famous one is that the director killed all the patients and hung herself afterward. Ha-Jun announces that Horror Times will be doing an exploration of GONJIAM Asylum, which he will be doing a live broadcast of. He decides to form a group of 6 people, Ah-Yun, Charlotte, Ji-Hyun, Sung-Hoon, Sung-Wook, and Jae-Yoon for the live broadcast. Out of the 6, Charlotte has visited 3 out of the top 7 haunted places listed by CNN. They all meet up at a cafe to discuss their plans for exploration. Here Ha-Jun reveals that he wants to hit 1 million views to earn from ad revenues. While they are drinking, they discuss more about the rumors surrounding the hospital. They say that no one has ever seen the ghost of the director, only the patients and high school girls. Apparently, high school girls used to go there to test their nerves. But after going in there, they either commit suicide, get in accidents, or get into a coma. The group is in agreement that they all want to go into room 402, which no one has ever opened, and live to tell the tale. During their road trip to the asylum, they spin a camera around to decide who's going to open the door. It lands on Jae-Yoon, who is definitely unhappy that he has to do it. They all go for a swim before arriving at their location. When they reach their destination, the asylum's main entrance was barricaded, so they had to enter through the back to avoid the patrolling police officers. Outside of the hospital, they set up camp with the equipment needed for the broadcast. Before officially starting the broadcast, Sung-Hoon and Sung-Wook go inside the asylum to install surveillance cameras. They all have dinner together before preparing for the broadcast. They set up 2 cameras on their bodies, one that shows their point of view, and one that shows their face. As they are walking to the hospital, they do a video camera and mic test. A bird suddenly flies from the trees, which startles them. They also find a white underwear in the trees, which they decide to use as a marker. When they reach the entrance, they hear police sirens. They cover their lights and stay quiet, so that they would not get caught. The scenes are getting more intense as they hide from the police. On the entrance, they find graffiti that says, "Enter and die." They start the broadcast here, with Sung-Wook acting as the main host for the stream. Ha-Jun is left behind at their camp, where he gives them directions. They enter the building through the stairs that lead to the 2nd floor, where the sides are lined with rooms. Ji-Hyun and Charlotte go ahead of them to set up a small dish of holy water with a camera. This is so that they can capture the holy water's reactions. While Sung-Wook is introducing the viewers to the 2nd floor, the door to the director's office slams shut. This prompts them to explore the room. They see several photographs inside, including photos of the patients, the staff, and the director. Here, they discover that the director plays ping pong, which could be the explanation for the reports of ping pong sounds in the asylum. They are startled when they hear a noise and see something that resembles hair from the ceiling. The group splits up to do separate explorations of the hospital. Sung-wook and Sung-hoon go back into the director's office to set up a ritual, while the others are on different floors. Charlotte and Ji-hyun are on the first floor, also known as the basement. Here, Charlotte signs her name on a wall with spray paint to celebrate her 4th visit to a haunted place. Under her name, there was graffiti with the words, "Let's live." They walk down the corridor, which is filled with graffiti and words. Their light keeps turning off. They decide to go into the laboratory, where there is water leaking all over the room, medical records all over the floor, and broken furniture. They also find a lot of shattered tiles, medical tools, and medicine bottles. In a cabinet, they find a strange-looking doll. As Charlotte is about to take a photo of what they are finding, she shatters a bottle with a dead chicken inside of it. After Charlotte and Ji-hyun's part of the broadcast, we switch to Jae-yoon and Ah-yeon, who are on the 3rd floor. They find a broken ping pong table and a dead bird during their exploration. They go into the shower room. Jae-yoon explains to the viewers how they set up cameras in this room, and shows them the stain on the wall that resembles a person. They proceed to the bathing room. Jae-yoon freaks out when he sees a wig floating in the bathtub. Ah-yeon picks this up with a stick, and points it at Jae-yoon to spook him. We switch back to Charlotte and Ji-hyun. They are on the 4th floor, where they set up cameras that detect movements. They stand in front of room 402, and explain to the viewers that anyone who has tried to open it, has either died or become unconscious. They make an attempt to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. They head back to the director's room to do the ritual. The room is set up with red strings and bells, an amulet with a spell, mullet, candles, and incense. The purpose of this is to call out the ghosts. Ah-yeon is conducting the ritual. They all sit down to observe what will happen. The candlelight started flickering before being blown out. The bells start ringing, before falling down from the ceiling. The group runs out in terror. After this, Sung-hoon and Sung-wook have a separate conversation with Ha-jun. This is where we find out that they had scripted what happened during the ritual. After this conversation, the small kitchen range in Ha-jun's tent turned on. The monitors and lights turn off. They turn back on, and he continues the broadcast. The group proceeds to go into the lab on the 1st floor. They notice that the room smells weird. Charlotte notices that the doll they had found before is in a different spot from before. The doll turned out to be the same doll in the photo that they found in the office. Charlotte freaks out when Sung-wook holds the doll, and runs out of the room with Ji-hyun. She scolds them afterward, saying that they shouldn't touch anything in places like that. Jae-yeon and Ah-yeon went to the 4th floor to install more cameras. Sung-wook, Sung-hoon, Charlotte, and Ji-hyun go to the collective care room. They find wooden closets that look like coffins, with holes located at the chest level. Sung-wook sticks his arm inside one of the holes, and pretends to have his arm pulled inside. When Ji-hyun puts her arm inside, for a second, nothing happens. Then, she starts to scream as her arm is pulling inside. When she manages to pull away, there are long scars on her arm. The wooden closet's door slowly opens, and Charlotte's scarf is pulled. The group runs out. Charlotte and Ji-hyun become even more distressed, when they notice that the words under Charlotte's signature change to "Let's Die." They decide to leave the asylum, and go back into the tent. Ha-jun rewinds the footage to confirm if the words had really changed. He lies to Sung-wook and Sung-hoon about this, saying that the words had always been "Let's Die." He struggles to convince them that nothing scary was happening during their exploration. Sung-wook gets upset, and cuts off his radio from Ha-jun. He has a conversation with Sung-hoon, and they both agree to continue the broadcast if they get a bigger share from the ad revenues. Meanwhile, Charlotte and Ji-hyun find themselves lost, as they notice that they passed by the underwear marker more than a few times. Charlotte becomes more terrified, when she notices that the items they found in the laboratory are on the ground. She looks up to Ji-hyun, who is behaving strangely. When she pokes her, Ji-hyun's eyes open. Her eyes are completely black, and she is muttering under her breath. Charlotte gets pulled up by the hair. She runs to the tent, but upon entering the tent, she discovers that she is back inside the hospital. Sung-wook and Sung-hoon go to the shower room. They hear a noise from the supply room, and Ha-jun commands them to enter it. When they get inside, they see a wheelchair move on its own. The door behind them shuts close, and the furniture is suddenly on the ceiling. When the furniture crashes down, objects start flying around, which knocks Sung-wook unconscious. Sung-hoon gets pulled outside of the room. When he runs back into it, the door slams in his face and he becomes unconscious. Charlotte and Ji-hyun are inside the hospital, with Ji-hyun still possessed. When Charlotte looks down, the doll they found earlier is on her foot. When she looks back up, there is a naked man with a scar on his chest. She tries to open the door. She bangs on it loudly, but it does not open. The man drags her into the darkness. Sung-hoon wakes up and runs to Ah-yeon and Jae-yoon and begs them to leave with him. He confesses that they scripted the ritual, but that everything that is currently happening is real. A ping pong ball gets thrown at them. They hear Charlotte scream inside room 402. They try to open the door, but it would not budge. A presence slowly approaches them from the other side of the corridor. Room 402 opens, and the video cameras black out. When they turn on their lights, they find themselves in a room filled with knee-deep water. Someone tries to cover Ah-yeon's and Jae-yoon's eyes with their hands. When Sung-hoon checks the camera, he sees a high school girl. When he checks again, he sees the hospital patients. Ah-yeon gets possessed, then Jae-yoon, then girl screams at Sung-hoon's face. Ha-joon decides to go inside the hospital himself to finish the exploration. When he gets inside, he calls out their names but gets no response. As he is looking outside a window, he feels a presence behind him. When he checks in the cameras who it is, it turns out to be a woman with a bloody mouth. She strangles him to death. Sung-wook wakes up to find himself tied to a wheelchair in the hallway. He calls for them, but no one is there. The wheelchair moves to face him towards room 402. As the wheelchair moves towards the room, he sees the patients' faces in the rooms lining up the hallway. When he gets inside, the door slams shut. In the end, it is revealed that the broadcast was cut off when Sung-wook admitted that they had scripted the ritual. Their views dropped, with the viewers believing that everything is staged. In the final shot, we see the holy water Charlotte set up beginning to boil. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your fun for today.